Hello guys, kumusta po mga ka-visualizers? Andito na naman po ako sa inyo para mag-share ng tutorial ng 3D Max. Ang topic natin ngayon, exterior lighting tutorial in 3D Max using Vray Sky, Vray Sun, and Vray Physical Camera. Simulan po natin. Okay, so yun, no? So, simulan na natin ang tutorial natin. So, meron akong niready na exterior scene dito. Punta tayo sa top view. So, nakasetup na ako ng Vray Sun ko dito. So, nilagay ko lang siya sinet ko lang siya as at least mga 45 degrees yung angle niya. Tapos sa setting niya ng Vray Sun, so unahin na natin to. Vray Sun, ang default niya is ganito, no? The size multiplier niya is 1 and the intensity multiplier is 1. So iiwan ko muna tong intensity multiplier sa 1 and then ang size multiplier will change it to 5. So that the shadows will be soft, no? That is the use of the size multiplier. And then but basically the intensity of the light is coming from this intensity multiplier. And then I have already set the Vray Sky physical camera, Vray physical camera. If you can see the setting, this is the default for the setting of the physical camera. So what will I just adjust here is actually nothing, no? So I'll just retain the shutter speed into 200 and then film ISO as 100, the value. And then next we're going to do is to set up the Vray Sky. So press M, so you can see the material editor parameter, and then as you can see I already set the Vray Sun here. But if I remove this one, because what we are going to do is to link our Vray Sun to the Vray Sky. So if I going to make a Vray Sky, what you're going to do is to click M, no? And then get material, so and then from the material map browser, choose the Vray Sky, and then double click. So you should be selected one of the material editor, no? So it will come to one of the material editor. So here I choose this one, so it comes here. And then so this is our Vray Sky. So what we're going to do is to check the specify sun node, and then from this sunlight parameter, click this one, the none, and then select the Vray Sun. So automatically it will link into your Vray Sunlight. So the Vray Sun is already linked to the Vray Sun, to the sunlight. Okay. So for the parameter of the Vray Sky, the value I will just retain the value to 1. And then the sun size multiplier, I will change this into 3. So it is also this will use also serve as the to make the use of this one is to soften the also the shade that will be going to our scene. For example, in the building, no, the shades are will become soft when it strikes on the when the light strikes on the shadow strikes on the building and other elements. So, and then next what we are going to modify is the, so let's go to render setup. Usually I for the output size, I usually put 2.4 by 1.8 for preliminary, but this is the value that I use also for the final, because it's a high resolution already. But since my computer can easily render this kind of output size, so I just use it also for the preliminary rendering. So for the aspect image aspect, just lock this one to 1.3, the ratio, so it will not be changed the width and the height. And then on our V-Ray setup, we have to check the frame buffer, no, so we can render on the frame buffer. And then next is the filter. Choose the cut mold room. So as I said last time, with the same with the applies with the from the interior render. Cut mold room serve as it has an edge enhancement. So that is the use of the cut mold room. So that's why I'm using it for the filter. And then image sampler, just retain this one. So no need to use any environment GI environment map to be put here. So I close this one also. So what I'll need to modify is this color mapping. So this one I already modified, but usually the basic value is for the burnt value I'll be using for the type is the usually the default is linear multiply, but we will for the exterior lighting we will use Reinhardt. And then I'll change the burn value into 0.25. So remember those values. Okay, and then we go to GI. So normally when it's this close, and this one is the default is brute force, but brute force is very hard to render. It will take time, so I just use the irradiance map for my primary engine. And then for the secondary engine, I use light cache. And then irradiance map, the parameter. For preliminary, I use the value of 50 for the subdivs, and interpolation samples for the value is 30. And the subdivision, the default is 1000, but this is for final value setup. I will just for preliminary I will just use it put a value of 500 for the subdivision. And then let's close this one, and then we go to settings. So here I will make an I will make a tutorial regarding the dynamic memory limit. So take note of this one. So I will make because this is a little bit of I need to explain regarding this one separately with in a new tutorial. So that's it. And then for the render elements, you need to add. So click add, and then this will come out. For the exterior lighting, we need the channel elements. I use the wire color, and then push the click the control, hold, and then hold, so you can add more. The V-ray reflection, and also the V-ray shadows, and the V-ray reflection, and then the V-ray refraction, and then the V-ray extra text. Okay, and then the V-ray lighting. Okay. Okay, so that is for the render elements. So, and for the V-ray extra text, we need to add on the texture for the parameter. We need if you click the none, you will be selecting from the map browser the V-ray dirt. So you add this one, click double click this V-ray dirt, and we'll add here into your texture. Okay, so we're done with this V-ray setting. So what we're going to do now is to take note also of this one now. When we open our render setup, because we already add the channel from the channel elements, the V-ray extra text, this will serve as it will produce a channel of it's like the ambient occlusion. So you can add your it's like you can add your V-ray dirt. If you have some if you need to have some to show the edges of your, for example, this here in the scene, to make it more realistic, we're putting some a little bit of dirt on the corners of each. For example, here in the walls, you can see some edges. So it will add up also to realism. So you can see from here, no. If you click the basic here, the ambient occlusion will come out. So we can remove this one. We can check that one. So we can save time to render. So no need to adjust to click the ambient occlusion, because after all we already have the V-ray extra text there. So this will serve as our V-ray dirt or ambient occlusion, but we will add it into the post-production, not on our rendering. So the rendering time will be less because we already removed the ambient occlusion effect. So you can still save time also with regards with that one. So we are ready to render. So I think we are ready to render now. And okay. And also one thing I forgot. Choose number 8 or environment. So here, because I already put if I put it into default, should do something like this. It should look something like this. The use map is unchecked, and then the environment has no map. So click M, push M, and then choose your V-ray sky, and then hold it, and then drag it here into your environment map. So, and then click instance. So as you can see in our scene, it adds up some environment background. So that is the V-ray sky. Okay, let's try to render. Okay, so we're now in the V-Ray frame buffer. So later we can adjust the sharpness. So I will click already the render, and then later we need to we will use the color curve correction. You have to, this one should be selected, and then also this show corrections control. So this will pop up the color correction setting. So later when we have already an image for coming from this render, so right now as we can see from the preview, it shows that our lighting is I think it's good enough, no? So let's just wait to for this one to be rendered, fully rendered. Okay.
Few moments later.
So ang next na gagawin natin is to sabi ko sa inyo is to open the use, should be click yung use color curves selection correction, and then click the show corrections control, and then this one will come out. Okay, so same procedure with my tutorial in interior lighting. Right click this end of the curve, the line, and then click select bezier, and then adjust the hold the end of the curve and the line, and then eventually you will you can adjust the contrast of the lighting. So right now I'm satisfied with the lighting from top, and then below you right click also, and then hold the line, and then for the contrast just manipulate this curve, and then yeah, it's like something like this. So I'm pretty satisfied with this contrast and brightness, and then close this one so we can save this image together with the channel elements. So isi-save na natin to. Pwede nyo i-check yung mga channel elements dito, no, kung na-render siya. Extra text, map, lighting, yung reflection, refraction, shadows, colors. So halos lahat yan gagamitin natin sa ano, no. So save natin. Exterior. Save as targa type, targa image file. Override. Change the value to 2.2. Then just click OK. Okay. Punta na tayo dun sa folder natin ng render. So yan and then we will open our render image, the color, exterior RGB color. Open it into Photoshop, and then so this is our final image, no? And then what we're going to do is to on layer duplicate the background, and then rename it as RGB. Okay, and then next is to select our on our render folder, select the watercolor. then open it into merge it into your RGB file. Press Control A and then Control C, and then go back to your image and then Control V to paste it on top of your RGB layer. And then now we have we will just rename this as watercolor, and then let's just close this one first and then go back to our RGB. Our next is the extra text. Same procedure, Control A, Control C, and then Control Tab to go to your image file, RGB file, then Control V to paste on top of the layer. And then here, what we're going to do, this is the dirt though, so we will rename this as the dirt file and the layer, and then here on layers under normal mode, select multiply. So right now we can see the effect of the dirt. So what we're going to do with this background, it become black, no? Just simply erase this one. So use the erasing tool just to remove that one. Erase it around. Okay, so you can still have the background. So we have already and here also in on my glass, no, because it was covered by black. And then what else? Okay, also this in the car. Okay, so now we can see the effect of on the edges, the corners. There are still more here. Just erase. Okay. See, if I close this layer, the dirt, you can see the edges are turning on and off. And then just erase some of the black, unnecessary black area. So it helps nakakatulong siya sa pagka-define ng edges ng building at saka yung mga ibang elements. Okay, so nagkakaroon ka ng contrast ngayon. So mas mukha siyang realistic. And then next, go back to your render folder. The next is the reflection. Open it into Photoshop, Control A, Control C, and then Alt Tab. Look for your image, and then Control B. And here we're going to add more reflection. So what we're going to use for the blending mode is the linear dodge and then add. So when we turn this on and off, so you can see the difference. So all of the reflected elements are emphasized, more emphasized. So what we're going to do is here in the opacity, if you need to adjust the reflection, just adjust the opacity of the reflection. So if you think it's good enough, then okay. Example like this one. For me, this is enough. So I'll leave it like that now. And then we go to the refraction. Open it into your Photoshop. Control A, Control C, and then Control Tab. and then your file, and Control V, paste it, and then we will use here also linear dodge add. Okay, so if you will notice, all the glass are emphasized, no? So you can see more refraction on the glass. See when I move this opacity. So just adjust this one, so as per your no, kung anong hanggang kailan na yung sa tingin nyo okay na. Okay, so halimbawa okay na yan, no? Sa tingin nyo okay na. So mas lalo siyang nagkakaroon ng no, na lively yung nyo, yung image nyo. Yung parang mo sa pag kunyari walang refraction, maitim siya, no? Puro itim lahat yung nyo. At least ito na-redefine. Okay. Next is, and then we add this Vray shadows. Put it into Photoshop, and then Control A, Control C. Go to our image, Control V, and bring it on top of the layer, and then we will use the subtract, and then opacity. So as you can see, the shadows become too dark, so you will just adjust. So because if we remove the opacity, it look like this one, no? This is the original. And then we'll just, if you want to add more darkness on the shadow, for example, like this one, no? Okay. So I add more, like 19% of shadow. So that's how you use. So you use subtract for the shadows layer elements. And then next is the lighting. Okay, Control A, Control C, and then Control V, and then again I think this is we will use this one, linear dodge add. So and then what you're seeing now is the light on the elements are burnout, no? So we adjust again the opacity. We go to 0 and then try to add more. So that is how the Vray lighting element is used for post-production. Okay. Maybe just some more of the shadow to give more depth. Next is I will use the watercolor on the layer. I'll just put it on top of all the layers and then turn it on. What I'm going to do is to apply some blur effect on the car. So the focus is on the structure. Okay, so what we're going to do is open the watercolor and then using magic wand tool, select the color of the car. So, and then close it, close the watercolor layer, and then go to your RGB layer, and then on the layer tab, click it, and then new layer via copy. So you make a copy of the layer of the car. Okay, just bring it on top. Okay, so what we're going to do is to add some blur effect. So from filter, choose the blur, and then Gaussian blur. No, sorry, the motion blur. Then you can see already the effect of the blur. But what we're going to do is to check the angle of all the lines. No, example here, all the lines are in this position, so direction. So we're going to modify the angle, so it will follow the direction of the lines in the image. So something like that, and then make the distance more, add more value on the distance. So example like that now. Okay, at least the car looks like it's moving. Okay, that's it, and then click OK. So now we already applied all the layers and then made all the post-production. And then one more thing, if you want to change your background, your sky, what you're going to do is select your RGB, and then from the layer, no, sorry, from the select tab, select the load selection, and then this will appear. So here in the channel, you select the alpha 1, and then click the invert, and then OK. So what you can see here is the background was selected. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is to delete that. So click delete on your keyboard. So if nothing happens, just here on your layer, close the background layer, and then you can see the background was removed. So the reason why is this little dark is because of this line, because of your this is the refraction layer. So I'll just rename this one refraction. So what you will just do is to erase also that part, so your background will not be dark. Okay, and then I think one more for the reflection. I name also this one reflection. Then erase. Okay, so now we're going to put some new background. So what you're going to do is to get a new background, because I've pre-selected some of in the internet new background. So just click this one, hold this one and then drag it into the Photoshop and then put it here in your image. So should be on top of your layer. Okay, so what you're going to do is bring it at the back of the other layers. So select the wallpaper, the background, the new background, and then what you're going to do is to click Control and then this open and close parenthesis command on your keyboard. Okay, so bring it down or just simply drag it here into, should be at the back of your should be behind your RGB layer. So now you have already changed the background. So adjust little. So my hint is into the wallpaper, to the background, is to follow the lines also, no, for the projection of your, for the direction of the horizontal lines of your the perspective. So itong pinili kong sky is going on that direction, so it gives more sense of the direction. So okay, that's it, no? So I'll just adjust the using levels. I will adjust a little bit brightness on my background. Okay. 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 We're done, no? Okay, so that's how you do the post-production from rendering it into 3D Max, import it into the Photoshop, all of the channel elements, and then applied all the channel elements to modify using the all the channel elements to do the post production in the Photoshop. Okay, that's it, no? So thank you very much. I hope you learned some things also again here in 3D Max, and also we use also Photoshop. And I see you next time in our another tutorial. And then watch out for this dynamic memory limit, no? I might do that for my next tutorial. Okay, thank you very much and keep safe. Okay, doc.